Ross, will this record increase in defense spending really make Taiwan safer?
Marginally, it's certainly going to be welcomed by commentators, by the United States, by security partners such as Japan, Australia. But is it really going to be enough? The simple answer is no. Taiwan's military spending has been deficient for many, many years. They're trying to play catch up by dramatically increasing the budget year on year. But by other metrics, such as a percentage of the GDP, the amount that they're spending is still, on its face, appears to be very low. And we should also keep in mind that a portion of their defense budget, like any other military, goes for non-weapons expenses, things like personnel costs, facilities, maintenance or upgrade, et cetera. So is it good? Is it welcome? Is it necessary? Certainly. Is it going to make a difference in how China prepares for a potential invasion of Taiwan? Absolutely not.
This visit by Nancy Pelosi earlier this month and then other visits by high-level politicians isn't sitting well with China, as we know, and surely the Taiwanese government knew that would be the case. What I'm wondering is why would the government there allow them to come and provoke China in that way?
It's a great question, and it's a fair question. It's probably not a question that the government here in Taiwan really likes, but the simple answer to that question would be that we will not be bullied by China, and that'll be the same answer that we hear from the visiting politicians as well. So certainly they would have factored in the costs of these visits, and that costs would include the military response that was necessary during China's exercises. So Taiwan putting its own ships or its own aircraft to sea or in the air in response, the costs for personnel to be on duty, the additional costs to respond to cyber attacks. So certainly they would have factored that in, and hopefully they would have factored in the need to dramatically increase the defense budget as well. But if you want to be cynical, you could also acknowledge that there are local elections here in Taiwan at the end of November. The national election, the next election for Taiwan's president and legislature, is going to be in January 2024. So it's only about 14 months after the election upcoming in November. So there is a political element as well. And that's democracy. So it's understandable that the government here wants to be seen as standing up to China. They want to be seen as having international support. If there's a financial cost for that, then they'll just go to the parliament, which is controlled by the same political party that controls the presidency, and they'll get an additional budget.
So I understand the need for Taiwan to give the appearance of standing up to China and increasing their defense spending and all that, but Taiwan surely could not fend off an attack from China. So what approach is the government taking? Are they just waiting to see what happens, the inevitable? Are they hoping that they will get support from the West?
Certainly, they're hoping there'll be support from the West and as well as Japan and Australia here in this part of the world. The strategy is to fend off China long enough for aid to come, and primarily that would come from the United States, and again, potentially Japan, potentially Australia. But can Taiwan hold out long enough? Experts also talk about making China think twice, making any military action so painful for China, whether through the loss of life of China's personnel, loss of shipping, loss of aircraft, potentially the use of Taiwan's capabilities to strike at targets on the mainland. So there's an element of that as well. But to be frank, the primary goal here would still be to hold off China long enough so that the United States could potentially come to Taiwan's assistance. But again, we also know on that side of the analysis, the United States continues to maintain what they call a strategic ambiguity policy, and there is no guarantee that they will come to Taiwan's assistance.
All right, we'll leave it there. Ross Feingold joining us from Taipei. Ross, thank you.